All right, guys. Thank you for being with us today. Today, I'm here with the Ninja Muscle, correct?
Yep, yep.
Or I should say Tremon. So please introduce yourself, Tremon.
All right, so my name's Tremaine Dorch. Also know everybody calls me Trey. It's just usually easier to remember. But on Instagram, themuscle.ninja. Uh, and yeah, let's do this thing, man.
All right, fantastic. Well, first off, thank you for being here, and let's just get right into it, man. The first thing I noticed, and I noticed on your page is, man, you are shredded out of your mind, bro. Like, so like that's the first question I gotta ask you. How does one start looking like that? How does the diet look for somebody to get to where you're at?
So that's tough. All right, so it is that's a general question I get, and it's hard to answer because it really depends on how disciplined you are, right?
Mhm.
It's not impossible. A lot of people think like you have to use steroids or trends in order to get this kind of physique. You don't, right? Uh, I've been training, working out since I was 6 with older cousins and stuff like that, and I've just been at it, just at it. I just never really just stopped. As far as like nutrition, yes, nutrition's key is huge. Like during the week, I am very focused on what I'm eating. I don't like mess with dairy or breads. I try to limit the sugar as much as possible. Of course, there's sugar in everything, so you really gotta just monitor it, right? Uh, but like for I train 2.5 hours every day. I typically wear a surfing suit. Um, I don't know if you see any of like my stories or stuff like that. Instagram's cool, making videos, shirts off, stuff like that. But when it comes to like training, the grind, I'm wearing a t-shirt, my surfing suit, which is like full body, a t-shirt or a long sleeve over that, and then a hoodie with sweatpants. Now that's typically year round. All right. Once summer hits, I usually tend to take off the surfing suit because then I lose too much weight, too much muscle mass. But I'm still hoodieing, sweats, changing clothes throughout my workout because it's keep the gym hot. You know what I mean? The discomfort part, I really, really grasp onto. And you can stop me whenever you want. I try
Oh
not
no, go ahead, man. I'm
to.
learning
uh,
myself right now, so I'm listening.
cool, cool, cool. So when it comes to my eating, though, and we'll get back to the training, but when it comes to eating for breakfast, I don't eat much. It's usually a banana, blueberries, an egg, a boiled egg white, and my protein shake. That's upper body days, which is not high in calories or anything like that, but it gives me what I need to at least get going. On leg days, my breakfast is a bit more. Like I still have my blueberries, my banana, my protein shake, but then I have my cup of oatmeal. I have sweet potato and maybe a protein pancake. I try to load it up because I burn more calories leg days. When I train, my percentage wise upper body is like 90% body weight, 10% weights,
Mhm.
and then when I do leg day it's like the opposite. You know what I mean? So it's like 90% heavy lifting and then a lot of jumping around plyometrics and stuff. So
No, that's true. I mean, the plyometrics and the heavy lifting definitely do burn the calories. I found it interesting that you don't really do much lifting of weights in terms of upper body. A lot of it is calisthenics for you.
a lot of pull-ups, push-ups, dips. I've really tried mastering the basics. High reps. I do a lot of high reps. Like if I'm doing any type of sets, when it comes to my pull-ups, it's gonna be 30 and above. Um, if it's push-ups, I'm shooting for 30 to 50 in rounds of 3 to 5 sets. And I do a lot of push-pull. Like I'm always supersetting, high intensity. I have
Mhm.
my slow strength days too, like where I'm practicing my levers and practicing my planche training and stuff like that. But that's like typically later in the day after my workout, after my training's done, right?
Mhm.
So upper body wise, yeah, it's pull-ups, push-ups, dips, core, battle ropes, high high intensity.
Man,
I do add weight to my body, like weighted pull-ups. Like I said, I do a lot of push pull. So if I'm gonna do pull-ups, I'm gonna do handstand push-ups. If I'm gonna do dips, I'm gonna do neutral chin-ups or something like that. It's always gonna be like give or take both of them. You know what I mean?
yeah, okay, that makes sense. So it sounds to me like you do a lot of hypertrophy training,
Yes.
rather for the upper body rather than strength training.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason you went that route?
Say again.
Is there a reason you went that route rather than working on strength or
So it changes throughout the week. So let's say I
Mhm,
hit body Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday's a little bit of total body ish majority of the time. Um, my Mondays are going to be my heaviest strength training day. So that's where I'm doing my my heavy weighted pull ups or my weighted dips. Reps
mhm,
one is high, right? Uh, and then later in the workout, I will go higher in reps with maybe the same exercises. And then Wednesday will be more mid. It'd be not as heavy weighted calisthenics, but it's still pretty weighted, right? So we're in more the mid range as opposed to the 20 to 30 reps. And then Fridays are my high rep days. So I kind of play with throughout the weekend. Some of those days may change. Like if I'm not feeling it Monday to do heavy, I'm going light. I'm going a bunch of reps. My body probably didn't have enough time to recover, or I didn't get enough sleep. A lot of different variables playing, but I try listening to my body for the most part, no matter
mm.
what I'm
Okay, now I really like the fact that you said you listen to your body. I think one of the biggest mistakes athletes make in general is they do not listen to their bodies, which is what causes a lot of injuries because your body is always going to tell you what you need to do. That's like one of my philosophies. It's like
getting. Yeah.
your body will tell you what needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like whether you need to rest or you need to take some time off and recover, but
Uh-huh.
it'll always let you know no matter what.
The rest part, that's the hardest part for me. Like my wife gets on me all the time. She forces me every 6 weeks to take a Friday off. And my body probably needs more than that, but it at least gives my body a little bit more time to recover. I'm really big on recovery. Like, yes, you have off days, but my off days are also active. Like it's pretty much prepping my body for Monday. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hydrated. I'm using my recovery pumps. I'm getting all the water I can in, up in my vitamins, my L-glutamine, stuff like that, to just make sure my body is prepped and ready to go Mondays. But yeah, if my body's not feeling a certain exercise that day, it's better to be safe than sorry and just be like, all right, there's another day. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you. So you're not trying to push when you feel like you don't need to push. And I feel like that's a lot of things. There's a lot of things you see online where people are always about to grind and push through this, push through that. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like
It
that's just it.
could at times because like I'm really big on motivational speaking, ET, Inky Johnson, work past the pain, grind, grind, grind.
Yeah.
But he also talks about rest. He does talk about rest. It's just not too many people hear that part. You know what I mean? The body is like it doesn't deserve all the punishment, and you're not gonna treat it at least. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they love the hard work. Yeah, gotta hit. But then there's the foam roll, the deep tissue massages, the daily stretching, stuff like that people kind of leave out because all they hear is I gotta go, gotta go. But nah, you
Take your
got
time, homie.
to
So let's talk about recovery. So how would you optimize recovery? Let's say you had a hard leg day or upper body day and you have from let's say Saturday, Sunday off, and then you start again on Monday. How would you optimize recovery so that when you get back in the gym on Monday, you're ready to really go at it and just destroy the workout?
I use all my tools, man, all of them. So after all my leg days, no matter what, even on my upper body days, I'm pumping my legs. My legs, I pump my upper body too, but my main focus is my legs. Just because I put so much volume on them when I am training. So I do my recovery pumps. I use my hypervolt gun. I go freeze at my partner's human. They got the full body freeze
Pyro chamber thing?
red bed. You know what I mean? I try to make sure I'm stretching after every shower, and I shower every day, no matter.
Must.
So after I shower, I stretch. I go into a 20-30 minute stretch before I do anything else. Like it's my routine. It's like brushing your teeth. Like it goes with my fitness. And a lot of people, they just leave that part out, and that's when injuries start. And I don't have time to get injured.
I know I really do love hearing you say that you really take stretching really seriously because that really increases your flexibility.
Yeah,
And oftentimes when I make a post on my training page, I always talk about the necessity to really work on flexibility
mhm,
because as an athlete, if you're somebody trying to increase your speed or jump higher, that's what I tend to focus on. You also have to be flexible because you need to have that elastic energy so that when you go to run or when you go to jump you can really explode, and
that
also tight muscles are more prone to injuries.
exactly.
So I'm really glad that you spoke about stretching. I think that's very important, very underrated, very
Uh,
underrated.
so crucial to fitness. We preach about it all the time as I'm teaching classes and stuff like that. But not only that, for the kids that I train, that their coaches, and it's nothing against their coaches, but most high school coaches, they don't really stretch out their kids and focus on that aspect of the game. So when they get to me, they could barely touch their toes. So I try to give them like
Terrible.
I know it's terrible. So, but then they want to lift all these heavy weights. Like, oh, coach, put me under the barbell, bro. You're gonna hurt yourself. Your back gonna go out at 15. I can't have
Yeah.
that. No, my name. Anyway, but I let them know like we did like a little like a demonstration in the gym where I tied. Well, I had one of my members do a broad jump, and he got
Mhm.
like 7 feet. It was really impressive, right? And then I tied him up in a rope right after that. Just kept tying them hands, feet, legs, everything, right? Just to give them my members the visual. I'm a very visual learner, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and then I had him do that same broad jump. He could barely go 2 feet, a foot, right? So I let people know like when you're tight, you got that tight fascia build up, you know what I mean? You're not stretching, foam rolling, doing the necessary things. You are then restricted. You have just restricted yourself from your maximum potential of what your body is capable of, right? You can
100%.
jump as high as you need to without injury, or jump as high as you want performance wise if you're restricted. And I've met very talented people that could jump through the ceiling but are tight. But it's like, imagine how more explosive you would be if you took care of those necessary things.
100%. 100. I was going to say, I really believe like if you really want to get the most out of your vertical jump, it seems that that's what everybody cares cares about online anyway. Jumping higher than everybody else. If
I know.
you like, huh?
Yeah, I know. This is it's the thing.
It really is the thing. If you really want to get the most out of that, you gotta be flexible just for the movement itself. If you go to squat, if you have tight hips, tight glutes, tight hamstrings, you're not going to be able to get the most out of your muscles. It's just and tendons, that's another thing. Tendons as well. Like your Achilles
Yeah.
tendon, you gotta make sure you're stretching all those things to really get the most out of it. So I noticed on your account you really also focus a lot on explosive movements. Is that like your specialty or
I love calisthenics. I love fitness. Now
Mhm.
I used to play football, I ran track, I did boxing. So I love explosive movements. I love seeing how far I could just really take this body of mine. Because as I've gotten older, people have constantly told me I'm gonna have to slow down. Or you're not gonna be able to do that in your 30s. You're not gonna be able to do that when you're 35. I'm 37 now. Next month, God willing. You know what I mean? So I just like pushing my limits, like big jumps, seeing how fast I can go. You know what I mean? It just it excites me during my training just to see. Oh, damn! I know my body was capable of that, or I don't know if it could do that. Let's see if it can. And when I get it, it's like, man, all right.
It's an amazing feeling, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%. So, okay, let's take an athlete wanting let's go with a football player, like a football player. Let's take an athlete. He wants to get faster, stronger, and jump higher. What would be your first advice to him, and how would you really structure his training program in terms of weightlifting and adding in um running and jumping? Like, do you start with weightlifting first, build that base and foundation, and then slowly introduce plyometrics and running, or do you do like a combination of everything at once?
Uh, it really depends on the athlete. I don't
Mhm.
start. We always have a good warm up, nice run, nothing too crazy, some jump rope, just to wake the body up. Huge on the flexibility before we get training. Very light on the foam rolling because don't want to like damage anything, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then I don't start any workout without doing some band exercises, right?
Okay.
Hips, activating the glutes and the hamstring before we get into body weight. Now, from the bands, we'll go into some body weight exercises. And then, depending on their program, they may see dumbbells in their how advanced they are, right? If I'm not putting any barbells on kids or anybody who can barely do 20-pound dumbbells, right? Because a bar
100%.
5 pounds. So what's the point of giving them a barbell, right? So there are days where I would combine their strength training with explosive. So it'd be like 5 explosive strength exercises, or not 5 explosive reps, and then they get into some jumping, right?
Mhm.
And I will highly advise keep everything explosive. Once the movement is no longer explosive, stop, break, rest.
100%.
Because the whole point is to build the fast twitch fibers in the muscles. So if you're doing a bunch of slow squats and it's not just like fast twitch, like explosive, there's you're really defeating the whole purpose.
No, that's exactly right, because I tend to do a lot of research for those type of things, and I know to build explosive power, especially when it comes to jumping, it has to be maximal output almost every time around. So therefore, you have to take long breaks in between each set to fully recover, to do the actual workout, to do the exercise again, to
Uh,
get the most out of it.
yeah, and that's where it kind of gets hard, especially for my kids or even for my adults. When if I have a boot camp person that comes to personal training, and boot camp is fast, 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 fast. It's hit training, right? You're just trying
Yeah,
to cut low calories while being safe, right? But when they come to PT, they're like, okay, let's jump back in. It's like, no, 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 no. you're
slow down, buddy.
you're gonna give me some half butt reps if you just jump into this workout without you recovered. And sometimes I let them go just so they can see, because they're so impatient. They're like, oh no, I got to go. It's like, nah, especially for kids, because their attention span is like,
Well,
I gotta go, coach. It's like, nah, like be patient, it's coming. I need this next set more explosive than the last set, right? So it's like getting that into their head is like, it takes time, but the majority of the time they get it.
Yeah, that's correct. It's like the kids, they just want to get right into it. They don't want to take any break.
No
And
brain.
I'm like, like that's not how it works, man. It's like and people tend to be really impatient with results. They want the results really quickly as well.
Mhm.
And I try to tell them, I'm like, look, probably if you want to get better at this, you're probably not going to see significant results until like month 2 or 3, to be
Right.
honest with you. And people really, and a lot of things you see on the internet these days, everything is preaching like fast results. And in my opinion, that's terrible, because that's not how it works, especially when it comes to weight loss. You see lose 20 pounds in 30 days. I'm just like, what? I'm like, that's, first off, that's unhealthy.
Most of the time it's like water weight or something like that. But once
Yeah.
the ingredient starts to slow down, and that's when people start like I had a member like that not too long ago where she her first few weeks the weight was falling off pretty quickly, right? And then it started to slow down. The more detail specific you get into this thing, like the more you get into the weight, the harder it gets to drop the weight,
Exactly.
right? Then you gotta be like, okay, I gotta do maybe a little bit more than I did the last month, right? You can't keep doing the same thing. That used to kill me when I worked at the YMCA with people, um, they would do like the same exercise, and me just watching, observing. They do treadmill, they go do some lat pull down, some bench, just the typical exercises, but the reps wouldn't change, their tempo wouldn't change, the time wouldn't change. And then they'd be like, well, I lost 14 pounds last month, I didn't lose any. Well, you kind of doing the same thing. It's time to start switching it up, either intensity or stuff like that. Um, but it takes time.
Takes time.
It's a journey, man. We talk to our members about this all the time, where it comes to, I know you want this physique that you see on Instagram, and that's nice, but you spent 2-3 years eating trash. I'm not
Mhm.
2-3 years of trash off your body in a month or even 2 months, maybe not even 6 months. I mean, it just takes work, and just enjoy the journey. You'll be fine over time.
Yeah, and so like what you just spoke about, doing the same thing constantly and over again and not seeing any new results, that's progress. They're not doing progressive overload,
Hmm.
which is basically when you increase the intensity slowly over time and safely so that your body has to readapt.
Yeah.
Because training stimulus is your body adapting to what you're, putting on it.
Hmm.
So I find that very interesting. Another thing, and you can talk about this as well. Another thing that I see often online when it comes to weight loss is losing fat in a specific area. So,
Not
so
thing.
they it'll be like, hey, you can lose fat here or your stomach. I'm just like, come on, like it's like they're trying to sell you something, and it's just like not happening.
I've gotten that. Dude, I want to lose. I want to lose this.
Exactly.
Got to just get started. One. It's one of my members. I tell him there's a lot of variable when it comes to fitness, and that you have to put all the variables together. And she was like, "Oh, like making a cake," and I was like, it hit as soon as she said it, because like a cake, you need ingredients, right?
Yeah,
You need all the ingredients. Can't make a cake without eggs. Can't make a cake without flour. And then you can't make a cake without frosting. You know what I mean? It's just like
100%.
technically can't. But um, it's just a lot of people, they just see the working out part. It's not just working out. It's like we talked about before. It's the recovery. It's how much sleep you're getting. It's how you're eating. How often you're eating. Uh, Being detail specific, like using like it's 2022, they got apps for everything, right? So
Mhm,
go on the app and put in your weight and age and stuff like that, and it lets you know how many calories you need a day. And this is just general. There's also nutritionists that can help you with that,
mhm,
but you need to know how much sugar you're putting in your body, how much protein. When I ask people these questions, they have no clue. Like if I ask them how much sodium getting in, how much protein getting in, because everybody wants protein, right? But they taking it but not burning, using it effectively. So then it just ends up turning into fat, and it's like you just taking protein and take protein because that's what you hear on Instagram.
mm.
And nothing against Instagram, it's just that's where
That's just the way it is.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
just the way it is.
So when they don't know those detail factors and you do all this working out, you working out for nothing if you just replacing it in these sugar areas. Like
Mhm.
people like, nothing against Gatorade or anything like that, but Gatorade has 39 grams of sugar in it,
Yep.
2 servings or something like that. So it's like if you're a female, you're only supposed to be getting in what, average 25 grams of sugar. You over,
And
yeah,
that's a day.
huh?
And that's a day.
That's a day. You know what I'm saying? But now you don't had dinner and breakfast and all these other things that have sugar in it, and now you're like, why am I not losing weight? It's like there's a lot of different variables in fitness than you just working out. So patience, detail, patience. I can't.
Patience is key, isn't it?
Yeah, patience, and just being dedicated and doing research and learning about your body, about fitness, about the whole idea of what fitness is.
Yeah, and it's a never ending process. People
Yeah,
tend to have these goals, which are good. 100%, they're good to have goals, but a lot of the problems arise when they reach that goal. Oh, I want to lose 20 pounds in 5 months. They lose 20 pounds in 5 months, and then they start relaxing. It's like, oh, I can go back to what I was doing. And then 2 months later, those 20 pounds become that you lost is now 25 extra pounds that you
it
gained.
never
So,
ends. It absolutely never ends. And I get questions all the time, like, or comments in on one of my videos, like, "Why are you still working out?" It's like it doesn't stop just because I have abs or because I am shredded. Like my goals have goals. Just because I reach one thing, it's on to the next. People
exactly.
they just stop. It's like, nah, like my son, he's in gymnastics, right? I know with him training with me in the mornings and then what they're teaching him at gymnastics, he's gonna pass me one day. That is the goal. Like, and that's fine. I'm gonna give him a run for his money though. I'm gonna make sure he earns it. But the thing is, like, I know he watches me.
Hmm.
If I slack, he will slack, right? If dad's not giving everything he got, he's not gonna give. So
Then
that's
why should
part.
he, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's part of my reason to keep going. A lot of people's why is just not strong enough. Looking good is cool. Nothing wrong with wanting a good physique. How many people in your family are overweight that you can inspire to also get in shape?
100%.
Kids. Like I get all the time, like I ask my members, did you foam roll and stretch? I ask them every single day. I don't miss a day, right? And they say no. And I'd be like, well, do you have kids? They'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, how would it feel if your kids didn't do their homework and they got F on the test? You'd be like, you're on punishment. Well, how the hell you figure you get to be mad at them for not doing what they're supposed to do, but you ain't doing what you're supposed to do?
That's a good
So like
analogy.
it it helps. It makes them kind of reevaluate like what's really important. Like what kind of character do you have? Like nobody wants to be
Mhm.
called a hypocrite. Like that's like, oh, it's offensive.
That's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling. It's just like a dirty word, right? But when you look at the bigger picture, like your kids are watching everything you do, right? Your family members are watching everything you do, right? So I got family in Denver that watches all my videos, and some of them not doing everything they're supposed to be doing in gangs and stuff like that. But if I can inspire them by just being consistent, showing them something different, making it in an area that doesn't require that kind of living, right? They
Yeah.
see that. So what's your why? What are you really doing this for outside just looking good? You find you grasp onto something like that, you it makes it a lot harder to fail.
No, that's completely right. A lot of people work hard to look good, and that's like you said, that's a good reason. If that's the motivation to keep you working out, then fantastic. But the fact is, it's just fantastic for your health. If you want to live a long life,
That's one.
then you have to be in the gym. And the funny thing is, I see a lot of people, they tend to focus on one area only. Some people only do cardio and they don't touch weights at all. And that's okay. That's better than doing nothing. But I feel like you have to do a little bit of everything. And another fact that's actually funny to me is lifting weights actually is the best thing you can do as you age for cognitive function and living longer.
I agree. I do agree. We have a marathon runner in our gym. She's 60, and she's been running marathons forever. Like
Wow.
like she, but she had she met us. She joined our boot camp 11 years ago, but she had been running for almost 30. And she said, let's see, she met us when she was 49, 50, right? She said her running got stronger by doing the strength training. She knows the difference between, and she's older, she's very lean, very, I don't want to call her skinny, but she's, very lean, marathon type build runner, right?
Mhm.
He is aware of her body enough to notice that, hey, I'm running better at 49 than I was before, and I'm a stronger runner now because I was doing the strength training, the strength and conditioning, and being more aware of her body. Great, you know what I mean? That was a sign for me that it helps.
100%. And going back to that example of your client, and just from being a trainer myself and seeing how athletes train, being a former college athlete, let's talk about core, working on your core, because I feel like athletes really take that for granted. And I'm like, working on your core is like the foundation of your body, for injury prevention and performance. Because if you have a weak core, that means there's a lot of mechanical problems you're having when you're running, because you're not able to really hold yourself up properly. And also, it just goes down to your hips, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your upper body, your lower back as well, because that's where everything is centered around. So if it's not
That's
strong, you just don't have the foundation you need to be a good, like, athlete or just person living life in general.
Oh, I agree 100%. I get, I won't call it praise. I get some people that get inspired by my core exercises, and some people that are like, oh, you don't need that to get abs. I don't do ab workouts. I do core training. There's
Hmm.
the difference, right? I train
Exactly.
my core like I train any other muscle group. You don't have to, but I know a strong core gives me a strong deadlift. Now I have a pretty strong deadlift for a person my size. I'm not a big guy, but I could pull with some big boys. You know what I mean? With me knowing that strengthening my core helps you with your pull-ups, helps you with your push-ups. Like you got
Hmm.
push up. If you have a weak core, you're gonna have the arch in your lower back. It's gonna be the last thing that comes up as opposed to the flex and belly button and spine type movement. I just think it doesn't get enough respect because people want abs. Abs are cool. That's body fat percentage. So if you want to see abs,
Hmm.
lower your body fat percentage. You eat right, you stay away from trash, you exercise on daily, and that body fat will slowly but surely tend to drop. It's tough and it's not going to happen overnight, but a strong core, to me, abs are like overrated if they're weak. It's like, what's the point? Like I could do,
Anybody can have abs.
yeah, anybody can have abs, but like, what can you actually do with them? If your thing is just to have them for show, that's cool. But that's not my case. I want to see how much I could pull, how much uh, like my human flags or like my calisthenic exercises. Like those are things that motivate me to have a strong core. I love doing those type movements.
No, and honestly, from your page, man, those human flags, impressive, bro. Really impressive.
I appreciate that. But even when it comes to my calisthenics, there's still things I need to strengthen my core for, like the planche and stuff like that. Like I have my goals got goals. I'm telling you,
No,
it's
I really like hearing that. And so one of the things for me personally when it comes to core is I don't really do, for example, crunches or sit-ups. I tend to focus on a lot of static or isometric stuff, such as planks.
right.
Just doing the research alone, it activates your core way more than doing crunches.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Some of the best effective. I tell my members all this because I'll give them core exercise because they want to feel the burn. Like that's
Hmm.
in classes and stuff like that. Can we do some ab workouts? Cool. But I let them know the most effective ones you can do is planks, Supermans. Like you can't go wrong with those. And there's so many variety of planks you can do that will help you build that core strength. Uh, Dragon flags, like you said, anything static holds, you can't go wrong.
Fantastic. That's great. That's great. So let's go back. You said this earlier. You're talking about sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, as we know these days, people get horrible sleep. They don't take it seriously. Can you talk about the importance of getting proper sleep when it comes to fitness goals and just life in general because of the way everything works in your body. If you have bad sleep, that means there's a cascading effect where everything else is suffering.
Oh yeah, and this is even something I have a hard time with running the gym, and we don't get in late. You end up eating late, so this is even something I'm having something to like work with because I know how much it's crucial to my recovery. And like weekends, I get the best sleep, but it's during the week with work and training and PT and stuff like that that runs into the night. Is like when the last class is at 9 o'clock. You're like, man, I still gotta make the videos for the trainers for the next day and stuff like. Everybody has a life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not excuses. It's just it's another variable that has to get fixed in order for me to even get better with my fitness journey. It's crucial. Like
100%.
I'm averaging 5 to 6 hours where I wish.
Ooh.
No, I know. So, bro, after this, if I could take a nap, I'm going. But like I said, like the weekend, that's where I get my most rest. If I can, ooh, during the week is tough. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
That
it
sounds tough.
really speak on that because I'm still working on it myself. You know what I mean?
No, no, you're right on that. Like,
But it helped.
so what is the difference you feel when you get good sleep in your performance and when you get your average
Oh,
weekly night like 5 6 hours? Like, what's the difference for you?
dude, like, and my wife, she tries to save me. She really does. Like
That's a good
I,
wife.
I have a routine that I have to stick to. It's like OCD, where it's like I have to train at a particular time. I don't care if I go to sleep at 12, 1 o'clock. I have to train at this time. 6:30, 7 o'clock. I have to. Like, if I could get in there earlier, I will. I'm a junkie, right? So she'll let me know, babe, just sleep in. Just sleep in. And the days I actually listen to her, those end up being some of my best workouts. But I'm hard headed. Okay, I'm not perfect. I'm hard headed. I don't like to listen to that woman that he blessed me with. But when I do get that rest, and I'm like, okay, I can just sacrifice this hour. You sleep. You don't sleep when you're tired. You sleep when you're dead, and all that motivational stuff. It's like in my blood. You know what I mean? You listen to it,
Yeah.
it starts to like mess with your head. So it's like when I'm laying there and I wake up and it's like you hear the ET voice, you hear all the motivational speaking, be like, I ain't no punk, I'm getting up anyway.
It's gonna get done today.
Balance. You really have to find some balance in like the motivation part because the motivation is cool. It helps you when you don't want to do something that
Hmm.
you're doing. That's discipline. And my discipline gets me out of the bed, whether I want to be like everybody thinks I all my members they think I'm just a workout junkie, which I am. That's fine. Um, but they think I want to be in the gym every day. I don't. Out of the 5 days of the week I'm in the gym, maybe 2 of those days I actually really want to be there. The other times I much rather be resting, watching Netflix, playing with my son on the PlayStation, something like that. I don't want to be in there. I have to be in there. I just remind myself you ain't good enough to take a day off. That's my mentality. Doesn't have to be everybody's. I can't expect my son to take a day off and I'm in here chillaxing. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, just watching some TV.
yeah. So you gotta find some balance. So I need to listen to her more as far as like just sleeping in a few more if I'm not able to get to sleep. But God's working on me.
Yeah, no, I mean that's true. And for all the track athletes out there, because I mostly talk to track athletes,
Hmm.
getting good sleep the night before can literally be the difference between you getting a personal best that day or you finishing in a position you don't want to finish in. So
Yeah.
it's very, very important.
Or getting an injury. Like
Exactly.
a few times where it's like I shouldn't have went in. I should have rested properly. I should have just actually let my body heal as opposed to 2 days. I should have took 3 to 4 days off just because of how much I beat my body up and then the other variables of not getting sleep or missing a meal or something like that. Like all those little things add up. So it's
100%. It's like tired muscles are a lot more prone to injuries
Yeah, I think
than yeah, well, a lot more prone because your mechanics break down and your body just can't handle the stress you're placing on it. So it's very, very important. So I want to ask you before we get off here, I want to ask you about your training philosophy. What is your philosophy for training? Like it could be anything.
get better every day,
Get better every day.
better every day.
I like
Just
that.
it's if I'm not getting better, I feel like I'm wasting time.
That's 100%, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like we're not promised every day, and so it's like every day is a gift. So I'm gonna make the most of it.
All right. Thank you for that, man. Well, Trey, thank you for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it, man.
And you're awesome. This was fun, man.
Ah, man. So
I'll
where can they find you, man? Where can they the folks watching, where can they find you?
check me on Instagram, themuscle.ninja, TikTok, Trey Cast. Check out our Beachbody page, Beachbody underscore fitness underscore Facebook. You hit me wherever, man, and feel free to ask questions because that's what God put me on here to do. So to help.
All right, fantastic, man. All right. Just